tab here. Just going to go over some more details on the Magma Orb spell totem build. Had a few requests and comments and messages asking for more information, and I finally got around to making another video on it. I'm not going, I mean, this won't be a very highly edited video, but hopefully it covers some interesting aspects which you might have been wondering about, or which you might have overlooked because the other video was really very condensed. Let's just go to the passives tree right away, and we'll start with the Ascendancy tree because this is the most important. When I did my other video, I only had 6 points, right? Now the first 4 you have to spend to get the 2 extra totems. Pretty obvious. Now if you've only got 6, you might as well ignore this because it's not really useful for the build. Okay, because a lot of damage is coming from the staff. So don't get that. You want to get this one. You'll find that despite how weak it looks, you do run around on max endurance charges fairly often. So you can run the, is it Enduring Cry? I can't remember. I was running it with cast on damage taken. It's kind of useful, and depending how you're set up, you might benefit from the power charges too. I was contemplating turning this into a power charge build, but I didn't bother. I'm glad I didn't, because when you get 8 points, Ascendancy points, when you've done the Uber lab, you can come out to here. Now I didn't do this for a while because I hate lab, right? This is far better than it looks. It's better than I thought it would be. Casting the totem with the 6-link staff cost me what, 110 to 145 mana, depending what gems I was using. So when I was running an aura, I would often throw down 3 or 4 star totems, sorry, run around and then go to throw down a couple more, and I wouldn't have the mana to do it because I hadn't stacked mana regen, I hadn't stacked mana anywhere in the passives tree. And that's why I had this insta flask, and I was constantly using this and still sometimes running out, and it was just kind of annoying. You know, you can live with it, so don't worry if you haven't got this, but it's a little bit annoying. So that mana cost gets cut in half. It's just fantastic. And when you're running around in a map that has, you know, maybe it's a tough boss that's taken a while to kill, maybe you've run out of flasks, you now basically are only waiting half the time for your mana to regen. So that's one good thing. The second good thing is if your energy shield is full, you have 0 mana cost. So that 50 and 50, that the way they've done the math, that sums to 100. I know that sounds stupid, but there are other ways you could have interpreted that. But you get, so you get free mana cost, 0 mana cost, right? So when you're in a map that has no life or mana regen, it doesn't matter. You just have to, you know, back away from the monster. You know, it's easy to get through the map in the boss. You might be taking some damage. Just back away, let your shield recharge, and then just dump 4 totems next to it for no mana. Easy, very convenient. And the other thing is the extra energy shield gain, the 3rd point there. For this build, most of you guys probably won't have really good gear, so that extra energy shield may push you from being a little bit squishy to being a fairly decent survivability, let's say. So it's really important. You know, my energy shield got a nice big boost here. You know, I haven't stacked mana. If I was stacking mana through maybe taking a couple of strategic nodes in the tree, or if I had mana on gear, I would get even more energy shield. So, you know, if you have a ring that had that big mana roll which you thought was useless. Well, now at least it's giving you some energy shield, right? Anyway, in summary, go to the trouble of finishing Uber Lab and get this as soon as you can. Just get someone to run you through, and it will be well worth your time. Alright, so this is the tree. It's kind of a long story how I settled on this. It may have changed a little bit from what I posted in the forum. I don't know if I should tell that whole story or not. I think I'll skip most of it because it's not relevant. Basically, you're starting off here, and to get to here should be your first objective. And I'm not going to give a level by level sort of instruction. I don't think it's necessary. Just head on over to here. It's pretty convenient, this path. There's a lot of damage here, so you're not really wasting anything on the way. There's some extra energy shield, you know, some life if you want it. You know, this you could maybe leave for later, but certainly get this one because you're going to want a second totem as quick as you can. And when you're leveling, before you can get the staff, just level with fire totem and self-cast Magma Orb. It's pretty simple. I mean, if you want to, I don't like leveling with skills that have nothing to do with my build. I know a lot of people do that, but I generally don't. But if you want to level with Spark or something, it will probably work out as well. So if you feel like it, you can get this dual socket pretty early. It's fairly convenient. At that point, you know, the direction you take is kind of optional. I would probably suggest coming down here, mostly because of this node. The totem duration is really useful. Otherwise, if you don't have it, you'll find that sometimes when your fourth totem is going down, the first one will be disappearing. I think I noted that in the thread. So if only for this totem, it's worth coming down here. But you also get some nice totem damage. I haven't actually, I've had these on and off the whole time, and I'm not using them because I don't need the totem life. My totems, if they do die, generally you're getting one-shotted by a major boss or something, right? It would, if I was a level 100, yeah, I'd probably get these, but you know, I'm level 92 at the moment, and I don't think I really need them. I'm certainly not having any issues. I also have some totem mods on some of my jewels, which I'll go over in a moment. If you do want to get these, that's fine. You can sort of toggle them on and off when you need to respec to get something else. That's what I've been doing the whole time. Anyway, so that covers that section. Coming over here, you're really just trying to min-max damage and get energy shield. I would probably come up here, you know, as the next priority. I was really surprised at how much getting the damage radius, which is here and here, improved my my build. So at least just get the good nodes. You don't really have to finish the cluster. So you know, that's why I suggest probably coming up here next. At the same time, you can get these really good energy shield nodes. So I think this is pretty handy. More energy shield. This is kind of a little bit optional, you know. As you modify this tree to suit your own taste, you might want to take these away and do something else with the points, but I'm just using them as they are for now. Little opportunistic grab of the fire damage here. Resistance is also pretty handy. I think it's worth it. I made my way up to here by a different route initially. I think initially I came up through here, but I changed it I got out of this life. Got out of the life just because my gear was so good for energy shield. I wanted to put everything into flat or percent energy shield. So I just got this cluster here. Fire damage, pretty basic stuff. A little bit of damage to justify, you know, this path. Nice little totem node here. Yeah, this is all fairly self-explanatory. Again, just take any jewel. Anytime you can get a jewel for 3 nodes or less, it's worth doing. This is kind of interesting. I just changed this up recently. I'm now getting this. I just want the movement speed. The one thing about this build is this is the only movement speed node that I get in the entire tree. So, kinda happy to have it. I won't go into it. At one point I was all the way around here. There's a ton of damage here and some movement speed somewhere, but right now I'm in this area and I came down here just to get this movement speed. You also get the cast speed, which makes it a really good node, and you get access to this jewel socket. Okay, more energy shield here. Didn't fill it out, just got what I needed. Bit of spell damage, bit of int. So the tree I think is fairly well min-maxed. I don't think it's perfect, but I know that when I try and change something, I'm really scratching my head about what to cancel out. With these already cancelled, the next ones I would probably cancel would be these. There's a fire damage node or cluster over here, which, you know, might be interesting, as someone pointed out to me. So that's about it. I'll just quickly go over the jewels. What I've done is I've stacked faster start of energy shield recharge on everything, and everything else is generally damage or totem related. By having a little bit of resistance on 1 or 2 jewels, you really have control over your character's resistance. It's just a general strategy. It's annoying when you are just not quite maxed and you don't know what to do. Like, instead of trying to get new gear, which can be very time consuming, just get a jewel. Simple. Another one with the energy shield recharge and some damage. Again, same thing basically. Bit of totem elemental res. I like the totem elemental res. I noticed that some of the elemental damage mobs, not to mention bosses, are just destroying totems. Spark mages, I think, are one example. So I did deliberately get this, and if I was going to go back down here, I would prefer this node over this one. I think the elemental vulnerability is a little higher than physical vulnerability. So where was I? Yeah, that was that one. Dex and int is pretty useless. This is just where I'm keeping the rain of splinters, which I've already talked about. The best roll is 30% reduced totem damage, but it's pretty expensive, and it doesn't. Look, even 37%. If we look at the damage, so 50,400. Oops, take it out. 5294. So it's only doing, 2,500 difference anyway. So that's, you can see how that 7% isn't going to make a huge difference. Again, if I was truly min-maxing, I would get a perfect jewel, but it's not really a priority. And I think this was the last jewel. Again, the energy shield recharge, some resistance, and cast speed with fire. A little bit more damage. Generally, cast speed will give you more damage than flat spell percent spell damage or percent fire damage. So I like the cast speed. So that's the tree. Again, Which order you go is up to you, but I would go here first, then maybe down here, then over here, and you know, whatever you want for the rest. You probably want to aim to come up here, but most of your damage is going to come here and here. Last time I 6-linked one of these, it cost me 3,000 fusings, and I wasn't really going ham on currency at the start of the league, and I just bought the staff for 5x. It's probably 8x to buy now, but just buy a 6-link is my advice if you can. Otherwise, just run it in a 5-link. A 5-link is fine even for endgame. It's absolutely fine. 4-link you can even have fun with, but you know, try and get the 5-link. We'll start at the top. I crafted this myself, just generating a lot of chaos and chaos spamming. I did buy the helmet with the enchant on it, so it's an 84 level helm. So I think I paid 20 chaos for the enchant. The enchant prices for Magma Orb vary a lot. Last time I checked, these were an X, even for an uncrafted helmet, just with the enchant. I'd hate to have to pay an X for just the enchant. Not many people play Magma Orb, so it shouldn't be an expensive item. It's almost something you would just roll over. There is a flat Magma Orb damage enchant, but I prefer the extra area. Let's actually try it on if I can find it. Alright, so here's another one that I crafted, and we'll just see how the damage changes. So 5453, 53 150, so about 2,500, right? So I mean, it says 40%, but the way the calculation works, it's only about a 5% damage boost. I would rather have the chain, because with the chain I can dump totems outside the doorway, open the door, and the chain will work its way through the mob. So I prefer that. And this, if you're going ham on area because it's crazy fun, you want the extra chains, right? Don't worry about getting too high ES on this. Don't aim for 400. You'll just burn too many chaos. Just try and get something, you know, in the 300 range with a couple of resistances. That's absolutely fine. Chest, I divined this and kind of wrecked it. It was above 800. I'm trying to get the close to max. I was lucky to roll this. It's the best ES chest I've rolled, I think. So again, don't worry about getting something that's too good. The other things I was wearing this. If you're giving out some energy shield to gain some armor, it's still damage reduction, right? And this has the int on it. I paid an X for this and used it for quite a while until I rolled this. This thing I used for a long time. Something like this is not very expensive because it doesn't have int. And this I use for a lot of the build because I was happy to have the life, and the int really boosted the energy shield. So basically you're just wearing the best energy shield chest you can get, and if a bit of life helps you, especially if you've taken some life nodes, then you know, go for it. If I was going to buy a unique, I had those priced so people wouldn't buy them because I kind of don't. Which one don't I want to sell? I want to keep this one unless I get a ridiculously good offer, which isn't, you know, 20 chaos, which is what everyone seems to think it's worth. What was I saying? Oh, as far as unique chests go, you could have fun with Carcass Jack. I think you get the extra area damage, right? But personally, I am having fun stacking Energy Shield. Gloves, same story, just Energy Shield. Get something with an intelligence roll if you can. I crafted these. They're probably, I mean, they're worth several X, especially since I can yellow exalt it if I want to. I just put life on it. I could exalt more Energy Shield theoretically. There are some gloves that give you projectile damage, unique ones, you know, but just, you don't need the damage really. Just get the defense. The trouble with this build is there's no real way of generating your health or ES from damage because it's all done via Totem. So sometimes it can feel a little squishy, even though you're holding back, you're sort of hiding behind corners and stuff. When you do find yourself getting hit, you can't regenerate health. So I think just stacking Energy Shield is pretty sensible, and it's a pretty universal defense, right? Everyone does it. Boots, these are wonderful. They're almost too good. I paid 2x for these. They've got a double perfect roll and a pretty useful enchant, but don't worry about the enchant. Just to get 30% movement speed and 200 ES is all I was looking for. They're almost too good. It almost makes crafting Energy Shield boots completely pointless. You know, these boots in this league were not very expensive. You could buy them for 30 to 40 chaos. I paid 2x because I wanted a perfect roll. If you don't have these, just get some high Energy Shield boots with movement speed. As far as the special mods go, it's only the Desecrated Ground one which is useful. The damage, you know, the way it's calculated, it's not like this goes up by 50%. No, it goes up by, you know, 6% or something. So the Burning Ground damage is pointless. And for reasons which I'll come to, you don't want to be standing on Burning Ground. Actually, I'll mention it now. If you're on Burning Ground, it chips down your ES, so you don't have the ability to cast for 0 mana. Okay, so don't stand on Burning Ground. You know, the life regen on Shield is pretty useless since we're Energy Shield. The movement speed on Shocked Ground, you don't even notice it. But Desecrated Ground is awesome because that can be really annoying, especially if you don't have Chaos Res. And there's a T13 boss in the Wasteland map that throws out Desecrated Ground, and it kills a lot of people. I took these beats off, and I actually didn't know that he was throwing out Desecrated Ground. I never noticed it. I suddenly died after the boss was dead, and I was like, what? And that's when someone told me I was standing on Desecrated Ground. So, pretty good beats. I will probably use them anytime they're available in a league. These are from Warband's League originally. I guess they're coming into this league through the Warbands that the prophecies sometimes generate. So, pretty good boots. Jewelry, we'll start with the belt. I've really tried to stack Chaos Res on jewelry because I do the core map, you know, with some regularity. So, you need Chaos Res for one of the bosses in there. Just trying to grab some armor. Energy Shield, resistance, pretty basic. So double Chaos Res and, you know, just ES and resistance. Pretty simple. Remember, int will always scale up your Energy Shield, so consider that a desirable role. This is a freakishly good Energy Shield amulet. It's got double int, you know, because of the implicit and the mod, the affix. It's got flat and it's got percent. So you can't get much better. In fact, if I take it off, so 10,400 becomes 8,500. So almost 2,000 Energy Shield from one amulet. Oh, actually, I lied. Let's do that again. So yeah, 10,400 becomes 9,400. So it's 1,000. It's 1,000 energy shield from an amulet. But I actually don't need to wear it all the time. I have 3 amulets that I wear. This is just for stacking energy shield. Probably wear it at least half the time. This one is for energy shield and chaos res. So by the time I put this on, I'm now at max chaos res. Okay, still more than 10,000 years. Now the great thing is, because I have resistance on my jewels, I can take both of these off and still have max elemental resistance. That means I can wear this one, which gives me a big damage boost. So let's actually just buff my damage as much as I can by putting out the golem. So here we are with Sire of Shards, and we've got 57k DPS. Tooltip. I'll show you. I'll show you in a minute why that's not accurate. Okay, so that was with my max damage amulet, and if I'm normally wearing this one, I'm down to 51k, so pretty big damage boost. Cast speed, spell damage. So why isn't this accurate? Well, it's because of the fact that I lose 8% totem damage per totem. Okay, so it's 51k, and if I throw down a totem, it's 49, 45, 40, 36. So your effective damage is 36 times 4, which is 154, right? Let me check that. Oh, sorry, 144. Thank God for calculators here. So 144k DPS fire damage with, you know, crazy area, which you saw in the last video. It's pretty damn useful. The one limitation is for some of the tougher bosses. I'll come to that in a minute. So I think that's the gear. Offhand, just nothing, just sockets, just for leveling jewels. Never defer to these. Probably the smart thing to do would be to run the Screaming Eagle. I think it's called the Axe with movement speed. Just 2 of them. Just switch to those when you need to run across a map or something to catch up with the party, maybe. But yeah, really just using what you see here. Flasks, don't normally run all these. Normally run basically this, and now that this is kind of out of date, I very rarely need this mana. I don't play with flasks with this character. Okay, it's strong enough generally not to need them. But it's very nice to have this 1700 health buffer, and then just to slam a flask to stay alive, right? Doesn't happen very often, but it's very nice to be able to do that. Granted, self-explanatory, we've got no armor, so this can help if you're running into a pack of porcupines. Quicksilver, self-explanatory, I think. It's really about having the ability to remove bleed and poison. I've pretty much got these memorized pretty well. So I don't die to bleed anymore. I used to die a fair bit in core, but not anymore. I experimented with this. The idea of this flask is that you use it and your life goes to 1, but your energy shield recovers, right? So if you use you know, in my case, 1700 life, I will regain 1700 energy shield. Now, when I was using this, I had about 2100 life. And then what I would do is slam this, so watch my life, and it's full, because this is instant recovery on low life, right? So having this and this was basically an ability to get free energy shield recovery. The trouble is, you can only use this flask twice, as you just saw. So I was trying it with this, but by then it's, you know, you're using 3 flasks at once. It's just too, I don't know, confusing. It's too onerous. Now that I've got a little less life, because I took my chest off that had the life on it, remember, I was using this, so this gave me a lot more life. I also had rings with life on them. So flask, I'm just not using them. Just use the granite for a bit of extra defense occasionally. I always like to have a quicksilver. These I really use just to remove bleeding. And this just for the odd occasion when I do run out of mana, if I can't keep my energy shield up. And for the poison, so nothing special. You know, sometimes I take, you know, a special flask in for a certain map. If you don't have this, for maps with slower mana regen, you're going to have to take in an extra mana flask, or you will probably run out of mana on the boss. And you can still kill them, you just have to run around forever waiting for your mana to regen. So yeah, flasks, I just got sick of just banging flasks for every pack, and now I'm just trying to play without them. And because I'm running 3 Vol Disciplines, that's how I get my health back. These are my flasks basically. I got them set up with an increased duration, and if I get into trouble, which is normally only at the boss, I just slam one of these. It's very rare for me to use all 3, but it's nice to have 3 just in case, and some maps have more than one boss, right? So yeah, might as well get on my gems then. So yeah, Vol Discipline. Discipline just for the extra ES. If I take this off, I go from 10,000
my mana is spent
to 9,000. But because of my low to 0 mana cost, I can run with just this small amount of mana. No problem. If I'm in a map like with Burning Ground, I will, my other aura here is Anger. If I'm in a map with Burning Ground, or it's just a highly dangerous map where I'm constantly taking damage, I will turn off Anger. So this means I have a huge pool of mana. And remember, my mana cost is still half, even if I've got no energy shield. Yeah, so normally just running the Anger for the damage. Okay, I've got Flame Dash just to teleport. Enlighten, just water level 3. I want to get the Vertex so that I can run this as a level 4 Enlighten. But I want the Vertex with a Magma Orb enchant, and I haven't been able to find one yet. The Vertex is a unique helmet that drops from Uber at Ziri. They generally cost about 1x. Even without the enchant, it would probably be worth getting. They have about 300 energy shield, so they're really good, and +1 gems. I think it's to all gems. and they also have chaos rares. So, you know, enlighten, if it were +4 would be nice, but you know, level 3 is fine. Anger, and yeah, I've got the flame golem, which is just to get a tiny bit of extra damage. It's really not a big deal. I've got flame dash linked to faster casting just to get out of a tight spot a little more quickly. And I've also got, oh, this is my flammability, so if I feel like I just hard cast this, as I said in my other video, I can't do damage from my character, only from my totems. So I just hard cast a curse. Very low mana cost. Increased area, faster casting, makes a big difference. If I was in a party and other people didn't have fire damage, I'd maybe cast elemental weakness, so it would help other builds more, but if you're solo, you definitely want to use flammability. And because I don't die too much and I'm in softcore anyway, I don't use, you know, temp chains infeasible, which is what everyone uses, right? At one point, I won't go into it, but at one point I did have the extra curse up here. You might want to do that. It's kind of nice, or you can get it on an amulet. But just don't need it. I mean, with this much ES, there's only 2 bosses in the game that can kill me with any regularity, and that's Core Malachi and Core Malagaru. If I die to anything else, it's basically my fault. So I cast Flammability as my main curse. As I said in my other video, I was running Blasphemy, but I just found that so often the monsters I was killing in maps, especially when you're clearing maps quickly, which is what this build excels at, the monsters are nowhere near you when they die. So the Blasphemy is completely, you know, it's out of range. It doesn't have, even with area of effect. So I'm not using it. And I kind of like doing things differently, so if everyone else is running friggin' Blasphemy, Temp Chains and Feeble, I kind of like not using it. It's annoying when you get in a map and someone else has it and it overrides your curse, but I'm happy not to use it for this character. Alright, so we've covered passives tree, we've covered gear, jewels, we've gone over some of the gems, we've gone over the flasks a little bit. We've got a trade here. I might just save that. 20%. Oh, lightning golem. I must have found this from my prophecy. Gems are so worthless now. I've had that for sale for a long time. Alright, so I haven't gone over the gems in the staff yet. Right now I'm running a 5 blue 1 red setup. We start with Magma Orb. You notice at level 21, I'm going to get onto that in a minute. So Magma Orb, Conk Effect, Controlled Destruction, Elemental Focus, and Faster Casting. This is basically max damage, at least for tooltip, as far as I can tell. As far as I can tell, and of course we need the spell totem in there. Not all of these are 20% quality yet. Again, damage is not really an issue for most situations, so those are my gems. I was running an LMP for a while, and it's kind of fun to get the extra area, but you just don't need it. You've got so many projectiles and chains already, you may as well just go for the max damage. Alright, so I think I've covered my setup pretty thoroughly. If this was a 5 link, I'd drop either faster casting or elemental focus, because the faster casting gives the least damage. Let's just go through the damage differences. So 51.8, 48, so 10,000 from that. LE focus, what about 15,000, 16,000? You can see how powerful these gems are. It's unbelievable. Oh, it's interesting. I'm sure that controlled destruction used to give more damage. Anyway, it's about the same, I guess, as early focus. Conk effect, pretty huge. But it does, if you're looking for splash overlap, you got to remember you're going to lose that with the conk effect. But I still feel it's worth having. I actually did an experiment where I took out the conk effect and I put in increased area of effect, okay, and I killed the same boss in a T14 map. It was Palace. I'm not gonna show the video, I don't think, but it takes, I thought maybe, because it just felt like it with the build, that the increased AoE was actually helping to do more damage, even though the tooltip was less. But I went and killed this boss and it was definitely slower with the increased AoE. The Palace second form has a lot of health. It's a good boss to calibrate your damage. So, no, I'm sticking with conk effect. Again, the build has enough area. Alright, so that's our gems. What do we want to go over next? Oh yeah, so that's the build. Now, the one limitation it has, not the only limitation, I don't want to make this build out to be perfect, it's certainly not. But one thing you'll notice is that some bosses with, say, extra health from a map mod, or it's just a high level map, they take a while to kill. And if they take a while to kill, sometimes that means you die. So I was looking at this build thinking, how can we get more DPS, just for bosses at least, without really overhauling the tree or doing anything drastic? And the first thing I did was I evolved a couple of Magma Orb gems, and I only did 2 and I got a 21. I think, if you will just pardon me, I think I can show you the effect, because this went down to level 19. I just got it back to level 20. Alright, so this is a 21 gem. It's 51,800 damage. And if we replace it, it's 47.2. So you're getting about 10% extra damage just from an extra level on that gem. That's pretty huge, right? And it's, if you've got the currency, it's probably not difficult to buy one. And if you take my advice and level up a whole bunch of these, you should be able to evolve one to level 21 like I did. Probably the easiest thing you can do for more damage. This gem is kind of useless now. Can't go above 20. Put it over there. So, what I was thinking was, well, if we got it to 21, let's get a staff with +2, and let's run a level 23 Magma Orb. So that's what I did. And I bought one of these. I paid about 4.5x for this, already 6 linked. It's not a perfect rolled staff. This is almost perfect. This one is not. Anyway, it's still pretty good. So this has +2 fire gems. So now we're going to go from 21 to 23. And if we look at the damage, 51.8. And it's just tooltip, remember, but it's all we've got to go on for now. Run the exact same gems. And what do you think it's going to be? Remember, we're now at +2 fire. we got spell damage and fire damage and cast speed. Burning damage is irrelevant because we can't burn because of that. Now this did have 100% projectile damage. So really we're relying on that that +2 and the cast speed. And we're now at 63. 63.9, so was it 58? 50.8 before? I forgot already. So pretty big damage boost, at least in theory. You know, we're talking 20% or more. The gem is basically a plus 23. That's probably where the damage comes from. So that's, oh, that's interesting. So I get 5 chains. Is that because of the gem level? Is that because of the gem level? Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm going to check that in a moment. But I thought I was only getting 4 chains. I'm getting 2 from the helmet and somehow getting 3 from the gem. I'm going to just go over to PoE Wiki, type in Magma Orb, and just see if there's a dependence on a gem level. Yes, there is. So once you get a level 21 gem, you get an extra chain. That's pretty darned handy. I didn't know that till now, so that was worth making this video for. And since we're all about maxing DPS, we put on the DPS amulet. And remember, we're still at max resistances, so 70,000 tooltip. And remember, we got to do 4 totems, so 49,500. So basically 50,000 DPS, right? Each, so 200,000 fire damage DPS. I think that's pretty good. And I tested this. I may put this in the video or I might not. But I did the palace boss with this staff and I killed it in 21 seconds. Okay, the second form of the palace boss in 21 seconds. That was without, I think without any monster life or anything that would have affected the results. Okay. Now previously I tested it with the Sire of Shards, again without any weird map mods, and I got it dead in 45 seconds. Okay, I didn't have any trouble staying alive, but you know, 45 seconds is a bit of time to kill a boss, I guess. I'm comfortable with it personally, but a lot of players want really fast kills. So 45 to 21 seconds, big difference. Now the problem is you're kind of changing the build with this staff. I might just go to Dried Lake and give you a quick demo. So we're running around with the high damage staff. The sacrifice is you don't get the clear speed. It's actually a huge reduction in clear speed with this staff. See. Just firing in one direction. You still get the chains, and because of Rain of Splinters you still get 3 projectiles, so it does do quite a lot of damage and it has reasonable area, but it doesn't have the crazy area you get with Sire Shards. And this build was all about going crazy, right? If I was willing, I would just buy all these jewels and just replicate this so that I could just swap staffs or staves. But for now I have to swap the jewels. I just want to do a quick demo of the extra area. You've already seen it probably, but so with Sire Shards, you basically fill the screen, and with the other one you don't. Alright. It's still funny. I'm still not over how funny this is. It doesn't make you very popular with your party members, I'll have to say that. So if you've got the cash, buy one of these things. If you don't worry about it. You can still kill. I'm still running core map with Sire Shards. It's fine. You just have to run around a little more. Actually, for bosses where you're running around a lot, I almost prefer this stuff. Killing Chevron and core with this seems to be just as quick as with this. But for bosses that are kind of more stationary, like the Palace boss in second form, and like Dodri, who's kind of slow and you just sort of run circles around her, this will burn through them quite a bit quicker. So if you wanted to, you could carry one of these around and just swap them, you know, for bosses. I don't do that. Mostly what I do is I run this stuff if I'm in a party at the moment, because this pisses off my party members so much. Maybe I'll run some of the comments. I saved some comments, and yeah, it's pretty funny. If you're looking to PK people, you definitely want to use Sire Shards, because it lags people out more and it fills their screen with more orange.